So my name is Shay, and you wouldn't know this at first glance, but I have completed 3 Tough Mudders, so I am a badass mother. I also do things like I travel the world and I lobby on Capitol Hill for your travel rights. In addition to doing that, I have had the pleasure of working as a blogger and vlogger for many companies like the NFL, Verizon, Wireless, and some other cool things. And I've also been hired as a photographer where I've been able to go to like Thailand and Bali and so many other cool places. And much of my work has centered on the topic of eroticism, sensuality, sexuality. Topics like, if you Google hard enough, you would find my story on my first threesome or just some cool stuff, yeah. Now, what you might not know about some of that stuff is that it plays into the fact that I had an active and creative childhood, and I also graduated graduated high school at the age of 16. But with that, I was actually raised on the south side of Chicago. I was homeschooled, and I was raised in a cult. I was kicked out eventually because I'm a little bit of a rebel, but we'll get into that. But what you might not know from all of this is that I actually was abused for 7 years of my life, starting at the age of 7, going through the age of 14. I went to court, I testified, he confessed, he didn't serve a day in jail. So what this meant was that throughout my teenage years, through college, I suffered from depression, I was suicidal, I had an eating disorder, I had all of the symptoms. It was like a hot fucking mess. And it went on, because what they don't tell you is like after abuse, the touch stays with you. Like it could be 20 years later and you still feel it. So I wrote you shouldn't even see this, but I wrote my obituary at 19 years old, knowing that by 25 I would kill myself. 34, I am doing well. Yeah! I was like, you know what, I can't wake up depressed like this anymore. What is the opposite, right? Because I need to feel good about my life. The first thing I had to do was just to acknowledge this did happen, right? Like sometimes we just put it away or we don't want to say it out loud. I had to say it out loud and I had to say it to other people. Then I had to change my mind. I thought I was poisoned. I thought I was damaged. I thought I had to be the good girl, but being a good girl didn't work. I still got abused. So I was like, what if I made up my mind about what I wanted to believe? If I want to have sex on the first date or the 10th date or in 5 years, if I think whatever I want to do, I'm going to do it. I also had to become a pleasure hunter. And that was, I had to figure out what makes me feel good, what makes me feel alive. Instead of just scarfing down my food, what if I made it a feast? Instead of just using Dove soap, which might be whatever. I was like, like the salts and stuff that makes me feel like a queen, it makes me feel good. Everything has to be about pleasure as well as receiving the pleasure. I had to learn how to let someone give it to me, even if it was just giving me a hug. Another thing that I did was I asked myself the question, what do I want my sexual journey to be? And I asked that of whenever I'm in a relationship as well. What do I want our sexual journey to be? Who do I want to be as an erotic person? I have a 6-page letter on that. If you Google it online, it's really good. The other thing that I suggest doing is, they say consent is required, it's sexy, it's all that. After consent, try permission. Those are 2 different words with 2 different definitions. So I did this one exercise, one partner, just during sex, he was like, look at me and open your eyes. I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. But even that little thing changed the dynamics of how I approached pleasure. Just either taking permission from someone else or giving my permission. Another thing I did was explore the erotic movement. And this isn't just about burlesque, whether it was pole dancing or belly dancing. I took Afro-Caribbean, I took anything where I could have my body take up space. because I'm on the train and I'm tiny, I'm at work and I'm appropriate. I needed to show my body and be celebrated in community with others. I want to read you a quote, and this is about vulnerability. It says, "You can't hide parts of yourself for fear that knowledge of your shameful parts will limit the love someone has for you. The very fact that they are hidden is what sets limitations on someone's love for you. In a larger sense, it's not about personal disclosure. It's about having the courage to look someone in their eye, face to face. It is literally a powerful way of being seen." I'm challenging you to make a choice about your life, to choose what you want to experience in every moment, to make pleasure and desire a spiritual practice. I do think it was ordained by what everyone's believe in, that the point of you living is for you to be yourself and to be fully alive. And the radical part about that is that it gives you the power to take full responsibility for your life. Thank you.